Welcome to Real Estate Exposed, helping people in San Diego buy, sell, and refinance their biggest investment, delivering you timely truths, exposing important issues, and helping you get into the right home. Here are your hosts, real estate expert Daniel Beer, top-ranked professional by sales volume at one of San Diego's largest brokerages, and his mortgage partner, Todd Pianin, with over $2 billion in funded loans.
Hey, what's happening? It is back. Hey, we are back with you. Real Estate Exposed here on News Radio 600 Kogo. Your man, Dan Beer, with Beer Home Team over at Keller Williams and the best mortgage broker.
Banker.
Agent guy. I don't know, Todd. All I know is you're the guy that gets all my friends, family, clients loans, and they love you. And we're back together here on another Sunday morning. How you doing?
Good. Day before Halloween. Day before the spectacular Halloween that that is my son's favorite holiday of all holidays.
Very quickly, any interesting plans?
He's turned my house into the Munsters home, so he's dressed it up. So if you come by, if you happen to be in the neighborhood and you drive by, we have a scary house on the block. And then he's with his mom for Halloween, so I'm going to hang out with some friends on Halloween and do trick-or-treating with them and their kids. So it'll be nice. You?
Very cool.
You? Any exciting plans?
No, we'll walk up and down the street, and that's about it. My son is 2.5 years old, so we're a ways off. But
what's he going to be dressed up at? What's he going to be dressed up as, Dan?
He'll be a doctor.
Ask me who Jake's going to be.
What is he?
Well, he wanted to be Dan Beer because he's the most famous person he knows. But the second most
I was walking into that one.
The second most famous person is he's dressing up as Donald Trump.
Oh my goodness.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
All right. Well,
let's just move on from that subject.
I'm going to move on. So let's talk about a few, in a Halloween theme. Staying with that theme, people are often scared about buying a home, and most often, so much of it is rooted in what isn't truth or fact. It's really fiction, it's myth, and I'm not sure where it all comes from, but we're going to talk about a few reasons that people feel scared by the buying process when they really just don't know the facts. And so we're going to share those with you.
Well,
jumping into the first one, Todd.
Well, let's just back up 1 sec. I mean, I think a lot of people get scared because of the media, right? And what the media puts out there and how difficult it is to get a mortgage and how much of a down payment they get to. But I mean, one of the things that the Beer team does is you guys specialize in buyers. You have specialists who work with buyers and can Dan and I are going to debunk a lot of these scary facts, and we're going to go through them in a second. But one of the things that you owe yourself is to sit down with one of Dan's buyer consultants and have a consultation, because they'll also debunk a lot more stuff than Dan and I will have time to do today.
So if you want to reach out, the number's 800-676-2420. That's 800-676-2420. Let's jump into the first one here, Todd. People think that they need a 20% down payment in order to purchase. What is the reality? This is an incredible statistic you shared with me about millennials purchasing right now over the course of the last year. Share this with the listener, because I was blown away by this number.
So 44% of millennials have put down under 10% to buy their house. Under 10%. We have millennials putting down 3%, 3.5%. There's programs out there that, equity share programs we talked a little bit about last week. We're going to have a specialist come in the next couple of weeks to discuss it more intunely, because we got a lot of calls over it, that we could do an equity share type program, 10% from yourself and 10% from somebody else. But, 44% of millennials have put down less than 10%.
And just so you understand, this isn't coming from Todd's personal experience. The source behind this is National Association of Realtors, Mortgage Bankers Association, Banking Association, Trulia, CoreLogic, Ellie Mae. Okay, so this is coming from the most reputable sources in our industry. 44% of millennials across the nation have put down less than 10% to purchase their home over the last year.
Correct.
That's astonishing.
Correct.
So
Correct.
Sticking with that, Todd, because this is, I'm going to ask you to, have you take lead here again, just because this is, again, mortgage related.
Yep.
People think people think they need at least a 780 score, right? So a lot of people out there are scaring themselves off, saying, I need at least a 780 FICO score, right, a credit score, and mine is not quite there. What is the truth behind that?
Truth is negative. I mean, we can get people approved for purchases on FHA loans with a credit score as low as 600. I mean, the average score across the country last year for approved people who are approved had a 730 score. But really, where scores help you, Dan, is with just a little bit better in pricing. Not necessarily on the down payment situation, because if you look at an FHA loan or even a VA loan, for the sake of argument, our military members, I mean, we can go down to a 600 score. So I mean, that's a total that needs to be debunked. I mean, people don't need to have the Bentley of credit to be able to buy a home. I think that's just something that's just been out in the media far too long. And, you know, people have things happen in their lives. They go through a bad divorce. They go through a troubled time in their job, or they're out of work for a little bit of time and they couldn't pay their bills. I mean, lenders want to lend money and help people buy homes. So definitely.
It's early on in the process, too, that you should be engaging whoever you're going to trust to get that mortgage in place, or at least to advise you along that, because what I've also found is that people can also improve their credit along the way. You know, most buyers, actually, let me back up here. I'm going to say no buyer, virtually no buyer, outside of the person that, you know, has a very particular job where they could be relocated on the drop of a hat and boom, you're across the country, okay? But that's not most of us. Most home buyers, and, you know, it must be 90-something% of home buyers, they don't wake up one day and just go out and purchase a home. They start to, you know, have those thoughts, and they start to mull it over in their head, and it's a dinner conversation, and they start to browse online. And it's a months-long process. It's a long buying cycle. It's early in that buying cycle when you first even start to have inklings of thoughts along the lines of buying a home that you should be having a mortgage-related conversation for two reasons. One is that I find that most people, Todd, they'll come to us as agents saying, hey, we want to buy a home, let's say up to $550 or so.
Right.
And the reality is, you know, they don't actually know what that means. Oftentimes, they're really trying to tie it to a particular payment, and they don't understand all the options that are available to them as far as, you know, all the different lending options. So sometimes you'll find that that person really shouldn't have been looking any higher than 500, or they could have been looking up to 600 and been incredibly comfortable. So if they don't have, or you don't have, listening here, if you don't have that conversation early on with your mortgage professional, or your advisor, then you might end up spending months thinking of the wrong thing. The other side of it is sit down and start mapping out that plan, not just for your purchase, but with your mortgage, again, with that professional, because if you know, when I went to go make my own purchase a couple years back, the last home I purchased, I discovered some kind of medical issue on my credit.
A collection, yeah.
From years back.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
It was totally from years back. And my credit score wasn't nearly what I thought it was based on this one payment from years ago. Otherwise, I was totally perfect and clean. Well, thankfully, it wasn't the last minute when I started, looking at this. So Todd and his connections helped me resolve that. My credit went back up to very beautiful score, as Trump would say. I have the best scores.
Well, we also had we had Eric on the phone, right? I mean, Eric's been on the show before, and so we can get you Eric's information, and he can help you with your credit score if there's issues with your credit score. There's stuff that shouldn't be there, and you can reach us at 800-676-2420 if you want to discuss that. Again, 800.
The thing is like, you might be like me. I mean, to be frank, I always pay everything on time. My credit cards are paid in full every single month. Nothing's ever, we're on the, I mean, if you met my wife, you'd understand. We don't miss anything. Yet, from years earlier, there was something discovered that was affecting me. And that's why you have to engage your mortgage advisor early in the process. You'll be able to fix that. Nevertheless, there are definitely lower credit score options available if you're looking to get a loan.
Yep.
And finally, Todd, people feel like getting a mortgage is just so difficult. So what percentage, and then this is really this is really just a relic of, the last mortgage cycle and the fallout and everything that happened and all the new regulations. And mortgages developed the reputation for being very difficult to attain, a very hard and arduous process.
Yep.
What is the truth behind it? What percentage of applications were actually approved last month nationwide?
So nationwide, over 71.8% of loan applications that were taken were approved last month. So
71.8%.
71.8%. And Taisha and I last month in loan applications taken to approval was 95%.
So get the real truth. If you're in any way trying to figure out your real estate situation, you want professional free advice, just give us a shout. 800-676-2420. Again, that's 800-676-2420. You can find us also, Daniel Beer Home Team. You can find Todd Pianin and Taisha Lindsay at Home Street Bank. Give us a shout. We're going to look forward to being with you here at the other side of the break, and we're going to continue with our advanced real estate education. We're going to take a look at what to expect when home inspecting, a topic often overlooked, and you shouldn't, because that is an absolute misunderstanding often in the marketplace. We're going to jump in, dive deep. You're listening to Daniel Beer and Todd Pianin, Kogo 600. Welcome back with Real Estate Exposed, News Radio 600 Kogo, Daniel Beer, Todd Pianin. We talk a lot about buying a home, selling homes, but what about the home inspection process? A lot of misunderstandings around that, and what we find is that unless you get the right coaching going into it, so you're in the right frame of mind and understand what the real purpose of that inspection is for, then things can start to get goofed up and really over the wrong things. There's a lot of perspective that is lost in the home inspection process.
So, Dan, I mean, most people get scared of the home inspection process. I mean, it just seems like you have somebody who comes into your house who's going to like open up every crevice, everything, tear things apart, tell you that you could have leaky pipes, you could have the M word we'll call mold, or, can you just take me through what a normal home inspection looks like?
The actual physical act of the home inspection is that it'll roughly take about an hour per 1,000 feet. Okay? If you have a 4,000 square foot house, that's about a 4-hour inspection. You have a 1,000 square foot condo, about an hour inspection. You have a guy or a gal, typically a guy, that comes into your property or to the prospective property and is going to inspect all of the elements of the home, meaning they'll try out all of the outlets. They'll turn on every faucet. They'll make sure the water heaters are working, that there's hot water and cold water, that there's GFCIs, and that the outlets are grounded. And they're essentially going to work the entire property, right? They'll actually run the dishwasher.
Okay, I know you come from a construction background. I mean, you come from a construction family, but GFCIs, what's that?
It's essentially just a protective mechanism for outlets that are anywhere near a water source, right? So that they can essentially turn themselves off should there be a surge in electricity. But the important thing here is everybody, for the most part, knows, okay, they're going to get a home inspection. But what I really find is the issue with home inspections is that the buyer, say, has just negotiated, let's call it a $600,000 transaction. The seller, too, they're in the same boat. $600,000 transaction was just negotiated.
Right.
The inspection takes place, and there's, a tub diverter that doesn't work, like a $10 item, and a C-clamp that's missing in a fireplace that's about a $20 item, and you have a few broken roof tiles, and you have a couple of fogged windows, and you tally the whole thing up, and yeah, it can add up. I mean, you might be looking at $1,000 or $1,500 or whatever it might be. But the reality is that when you're going to buy a home, your mindset around the inspection should simply be that you're making sure the property isn't falling over. You're making sure that there isn't materially wrong with the property that would affect its value. Okay? A tub diverter a broken roof tile, these little things that get found, an ungrounded outlet, that doesn't change the value of the property. So that's not to say that you're not going to try to negotiate these items.
Yeah, but Dan, I don't want to move. I want to move into a house with my toothbrush.
Yeah, and
if I'm a buyer, right? I mean, I know that you're saying that, right? I mean, and I'm playing devil's advocate with you here for a second, but I mean, if someone doesn't have a tub diverter, or someone doesn't have these little pieces you're talking about, $1,000 here, $1,500. I mean, you would think that, when I go to sell my car, I usually get my car checked, up and down, do an inspection on my car, make sure that it's running, because I don't want to sell somebody a bad car. So, I mean, do most people...
We're not talking about buying a bad car or a car that doesn't run. Again, this isn't about a home that's... Your job number one when you're a buyer and your inspection's happening is there something here that's wrong enough that's going to materially change the value of my property? Do I have a foundation issue? Do I have a major plumbing issue? Do I have a major roof issue? And you're hearing me say major, okay?
Right.
The leak under the sink that, gosh, at least 1 out of every 4 homes seems to have, that we run into at least,
right,
that doesn't materially change the value of the property. Now, of course, you want to negotiate for those things that get taken care of as best as you can, but there's also a reality to you don't always get what you want. And sometimes you'll see a buyer that's just negotiated an excellent deal. You're buying for $20,000 less than the neighbor down the street that just bought the same model. And then the deal starts falling apart on a $600,000 deal. Everyone starts getting all worked up over the microwave. And this is why commercial real estate guys laugh at residential guys. That's why commercial guys just think residential to some degree is a little ridiculous, because we get caught up in these minor issues in the big picture of the totality of the deal. And it's amazing to watch people going back and forth at each other's throats over $500 of handyman items when they're doing an $800,000 transaction. And so I'm just advocating to keep perspective.
Got it. Okay. So, what would be so would it be recommended if I'm thinking about taking my house to market, right? I'm going to hire ABC Realtor or the Beer Team for the sake of argument. Would it be smart of me to get a home inspection prior to putting it on the market? Do you guys do that?
We do that. And it's an interesting negotiating technique, because you essentially pre-disclose everything, which in effect makes it so that the buyer is making an offer on the known conditions, so effectively making it so that they really shouldn't be asking you for any repairs at all. So that is something that we do. We have a program that we call our Certified Pre-Owned program, just like when you buy a Certified Pre-Owned BMW.
Right.
There are certain things that we do, professional measurements and inspections and included handyman work and all kinds of extra services to deliver the property in a turnkey fashion for the buyer. But there's a few things I also want to talk about here that affect both buyer and seller mentality, because both can equally get freaked out over this. When you actually get the physical inspection report, or you get the emailed version, and you see that it's 60 pages long, a lot of sellers get offended by that. What do you mean? I've taken amazing care of my property, and how could it be? And this inspector's crazy. Or the buyer will get scared. Oh my God, this house is falling apart. It's a 60-page report. If you're listening to me right now, please understand, expect that no matter what home you own or what home you're buying, that inspection report will most likely be a minimum of 40 pages long. It is absolutely normal. Now, if you actually thumb through those inspection reports, half of it is filled with just generic disclosure that the inspector needs to fill space with so that they can cover their own butt. Okay? But don't just jump to judgment when you see a 40, 50, 60-page report, because every report is that way. Even on new construction, you have a big, thick home inspection report with findings. So just want to give you the heads up to avoid any heartache. You should absolutely expect that. And also, we're going to head to break. You're listening to Real Estate Exposed, News Radio 600 Kogo. You're with Daniel Beer, Todd Pianin. And coming up next, we'll be discussing more home buying, selling, refinancing. The number here is 2420. Hey, we're back with you. It is Real Estate Exposed, News Radio 600 Togo. You're with Daniel Beer and Todd Pianin. And
trick or treat.
We want to remind you.
Trick or treat.
Todd is a Halloween night. We want to remind you that the official San Diego home selling workshops are coming. They're finally going to be back end of November. We're giving you early bird access, and just the tickets always fill out. The room's always, packed. And so we want to make the free tickets available to you now on the show, as we always do with our Real Estate Exposed listeners. The date will be November 30th. November 30th, and we offer it 2 times that day, either at 12:15 for those of you that it's more convenient during lunch, or 6:30 after work. Here's what we cover at the home selling workshops and why we've kept doing them, because the demand has been amazing and the response has been incredible. What we talk about is, first off, how do you net upwards of $62,000 more on the sale of your home than by using the methods of traditional agents? Okay? How do you do that? How do you actually get your home to predictably sell within 5 days of going on the market for top dollar? How do you use buyer psychology in your favor to create a negotiating advantage? What home improvements should you do to enhance your home sale and maximize your investment? There's home improvements you should do and those you shouldn't do. But we find a lot of people invest their dollars in the wrong place. So we dive deep on home improvement. Now, what's the truth behind staging? We cover staging. We talk about the psychology behind it. What are the most important aspects of it, and the mindset on how that ties back in with that buyer psychology that we're going to use in your favor. Winning with presentation. We debunk some of the most common home selling myths. Okay, we talk about a lot at this workshop, and most importantly, it's purely educational. There's nothing. I mean, you just get the blueprint, you take it with you.
But we talk about the marketplace, too. We talk about what's happening in the market. We actually give you real-time data, and Dan brings his buyer specialist, as well as Tom there as a lender. We have title people there. I mean, there's just a litany of people that Dan brings in to these home selling seminars that I think is extremely valuable, and it's all free. So, I mean,
why do we do it?
Yeah. We
do it for 2 reasons.
Yeah, go ahead.
We do it for 2 reasons. One is we are on an absolute, full-blown, declared war against what we call the list and pray model that is abundant in the marketplace. Okay, we cannot stand what's happening to our home selling environment. It's not even about our industry, because even for sale by owners do it. Even everybody does it. The list and pray model is the dominant way to sell homes in the United States of America. We are in a war against it. We want to show you a smarter blueprint. This is the place where, if you've ever heard of our trademark 5-day blitz, this is where we lay it all out. You take it with you, apply it how you want, when you want, with who you want. It's yours. You just take it. It's our commitment to the industry and to our cities, frankly.
I think it's awesome.
Where you go, by the way, is SanDiegoWorkshops.com.
Or they can call 800-676-2420 and say, Todd and Dan said, give me my free tickets.
So I'll repeat that phone number, and I'll give you the website again. That's 800-676-2420. Or you can visit SanDiegoWorkshops.com. That's plural, SanDiegoWorkshops.com. And
so, Dan, can we go ahead?
Yeah.
Can we jump into, they hear about the 5-day blitz on the at the workshops, and we talk about it all the time. But can we talk about, you guys have some other unique programs? I mean, I was watching your favorite show, $1 Million Listing Los Angeles, the other day, and these guys are having heartburn over the fact that one of the listings they were taking, it was a very expensive listing. I know they were planning on spending lots of dollars on marketing on the property, but it was the seller had the ability to cancel the contract at any time. You guys, that's nothing new.
We've been doing that.
Yeah, nothing new for you guys. I mean, where'd you come up with that idea, and why? And why is it so bad for the consumer to have a why is it so? Why does a realtor want to have a 6-month listing, and how did you come up with the idea of this is not the right way of doing it?
So I'll remind you, you're listening to Daniel Beer and Todd Gannon. Daniel Beer Group at Keller Williams, Todd Gannon, Home Street Bank.
It's the beer. It's the beer team.
Yes, it is. It's not really rolled out anywhere.
Yeah,
so they won't find that.
Sorry.
You got to still look up Daniel Beer Group if you want to find us.
Sorry.
So that's something we've been doing for years because we think it's the right thing to do. And frankly, I'm appalled that of how the templated agreement is written. The public, you as a home seller, you don't often understand how heavily weighted the California listing agreement is. So heavily weighted towards the agent in terms of favoring their protection versus yours. When you sign a California listing agreement, you are absolutely locked in for the time period specified in the agreement by the agent, which most agents will write in 6 months. I've seen agents write in a year. Okay? And so you're stuck. You've literally just interviewed this person for an hour, maybe 2 hours. You make a decision, you get married, you tie up your most important asset, and whether they perform or not, you're 100% stuck. If you want out, you have to go beg them, ask them, plead with them. Sometimes they'll extort you for dollars. They'll make you pay them, all right, well, I want $5,000 back to cover my time. Nonsense, okay?
So does that happen? Does that happen? I mean,
it happens often. It's actually commonplace. And so we want to remove that anxiety completely. We believe that the risk, that the need to perform and deliver on the promises made should lay on the agent's shoulders. And so we provide a 2-minute listing agreement, and we literally write in the following clause verbatim into every agreement. And it's that seller may cancel the agreement anytime for any reason and without penalty. That is critical. And that's something, it ties in with the home selling workshops, because something we also discuss at the home selling workshops is how do you actually make a smart decision as far as representation goes. And we give you the interview questions you should be asking whoever it is you're going to be talking to. But one thing I'll tell you, let's say we lose track of each other and you move to Texas and we never see each other again. No matter where you go, do not ever sign an agreement anywhere that doesn't allow you out the moment you want out for any reason and without penalty.
So Dan, getting back to my question though, how'd you come up with that? We knew her 10 years ago. You've been doing this for a while. So when you got into the business, you last couple of years, you've changed the way you've done things. But that's pretty dangerous for you because you've got resources, you've got marketing dollars, you've got all kinds of stuff. How did you get your arms around this, or how did you come up with this?
It's my job to perform. It's my team's job to deliver. How did we come up with it? Was simply that we felt it was the right thing. We realized, it's actually insane that every agent doesn't do this. How does it build a good reputation in the marketplace for you to have a hostage? Like a seller that wants out, you're not letting out. A seller that wants out, and you're extorting for money in order to get out. It's just simply good business. Most any other industry functions that way. If you want out, you can be out. Ours locks people in, and we believe that was not the right thing to do. So there you have the birth of our one-day listing agreement, or what you like to call it, our minute-to-minute listing agreement.
What's the average agent in San Diego? Because that's our home base, right? That's where we know. Does the average agent have this minute-to-minute listing agreement, or are you one of the few?
No, I share with people that I have this all the time, and I'm talking about other agents in the industry, because
right.
Like we said earlier, one of our passions is actually improving the industry. And they just look at me like I'm crazy. Well, it's because most agents come from a mindset of scarcity, a place of, oh my God, this is my only listing. What if I don't sell it? They're going to try to it's about them. If blanket, flat out, there's no way around it. If you're actually working for your client's success and for their interest, then you have no fear, or should have no fear, about putting on the line that you either perform and that your client is happy, or that they can be out and all you do is say, no problem, good luck, and you smile at them and shake their hand. That's good business. That's what we do. At least that's what we believe is the right thing. And we believe in having unique programs like that. In fact, coming out of the break, we'll talk about the Love It or Leave It program that we've developed. It's a way to increase demand for your home, and it's something that we'll be unveiling officially at the next workshop. Not as a plug for us, but rather it is something that, again, you should be looking at regardless of who your representation is. Demand more than list and pray, demand more than photos and then just having someone stick them online in a lockbox and calling it a day. You deserve it. You're listening to Real Estate Exposed with Daniel Beer and Todd Pianin. We will be right back with you. The number is 800-676-2420. And for your free workshop tickets, SanDiegoWorkshops.com. We'll be right back with you. So, this is Real Estate Exposed. You're listening to Daniel Beer, Todd Pianin. We're excited to be with you bottom of the hour. And we're always trying to bring innovative products, not physical products, but innovative service to what is a very much commoditized industry. And the Love It or Leave It program that we've developed to increase buyer demand and decrease buyers' risk, which is what increases buyer demand, is a huge hit coming out of the gate. So you're listening to Daniel Beer, Todd Pianin. I'm going to give you a phone number you can call should you have any personal question that you want to discuss, whether here or offline. That number is 800-676-2420. 800-676-2420. Daniel Beer for real estate, Todd Pianin for mortgage. So the Love It or Leave It program, we're extremely excited to unveil it. We're unveiling it right here on Real Estate Exposed. So, and essentially what it is.
Yeah, so take us slowly, Dan, through this process because it's a new program and I want to understand it. So go.
Well, when a buyer purchases a home, sometimes they have anxiety.
Right.
Okay, a lot of what our business is based on is the concept of risk reversal. That's why we have a guaranteed home sale program for sellers. That's why we have a minute-to-minute listing agreement for sellers. Well, for buyers, we have our Love It or Leave It program. Sometimes you're from out of town. You just moved here. You've only been here for 6 months. You're going to purchase a home, and you're somewhat afraid, what if I don't love it? Okay, sometimes you've been here for years, but there's something can come up in your personal life, and you're a little bit worried about it. So we have our Love It or Leave It program. There's just issues that pop up, life changes, and we believe in decreasing your risk. We like to take it on so you don't have to. And what it is that if you want to sell your home within 12 months of its purchase, okay, so you have a year in the home, we will simply sell the home for free. So essentially,
whoa.
If you want to get rid of it within a year, we sell it for free.
What do you mean you sell it for free? You don't charge a commission to sell it?
We do not charge a listing side commission whatsoever. Of course, the buyer agent that brings a buyer, that person will have to be paid, but our commission on our side, which depending on your price point could be tens of thousands of dollars, we just don't charge a commission at all. And it's an interesting program because for buyers love it because if you ever did need to make a quick move and you're going to be able to save, let's call it $15,000, $20,000 on the exit, because something came up with life, well, you just decrease your risk in a big way, especially in a market time like now when you want to take advantage of interest rates and lock in today's interest rate, but something's going on in life or at work where you might actually have to relocate within a year and you're not sure what to do. Well, the Love It or Leave It program is excellent for that. Sellers, interestingly,
can I ask
love the program too.
Well, can I ask the question real quick? I have a question for that. So, but let's just say I buy in a community that's gone up dramatically in value in 12 months, and so I call you up and I say, you know what, I made 30, 40, 50 grand. You're not going to take a commission. I mean, that doesn't seem real fair for you and your team.
We believe that people are good. We believe that people won't take advantage of us, even though we understand at some point someone will. and we're willing to live with that because we'd rather serve everybody else on a high level and just live with the, one person that's going to take advantage of, find the loophole in the program. We believe in reducing your risk and taking it on for you to the extent possible. Now, sellers, interestingly, love the program too, and it's become an incredible marketing tool for sellers. Let's say when you're marketing your home and you can market it as including a love it or leave it program for the buyer, now you have more buyer demand. Let's say that you're located on a busy road or under power lines or, something that makes the property a little bit more difficult to sell. Actually, I'll be frank with you, a lot more difficult to sell. Well, you now have you offer the buyers, you market the property as including a love it or leave it guarantee for the buyer or whatever buyer purchases your home. You've just reduced their risk so that they can move into your home. Now, what you know as a seller is they're going to love it once they're there. They're not even going to notice those power lines. But that love it or leave it guarantee can make them remove their focus from it during the purchase process. So that is an awesome program that we've been really excited to unveil. And
it's an incredible program. That is an incredible program, Dan. I have to tell you, you've done it again.
If you want to discuss it in any kind of detail, the number is 800-676-2420. And then just a quick reminder, the San Diego Home Selling Workshop, November 30th. It's a ways out, but I'd encourage you to get your ticket now because we always fill the room. If you've never been to one, you might want to find out why the demand has always been so high for them, the results, the reviews, everything out the roof. You're going to learn how to take advantage of the marketplace and sell smarter and have your home predictably sold at top dollar within 5 days of going on the market. It's a purely educational event. You take the information with you. It's been an awesome Sunday again, and I'm Daniel Beer. Todd?
I'm Todd Pianin from Home Street Bank, a member of the FDIC, equal housing lender, NMLS ID number 304014. Have a happy and safe Halloween, everyone.
Love y'all.